Hey everyone, thanks for joining me on this bluesy banjo adventure. We're gonna learn my arrangement of Johnny Lee Hooker's Boom Boom, and hopefully it'll teach us a little bit about playing blues on the banjo, and maybe a little bit about friendship along the way. Sounds like this. Boom, 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 boom. Shoot you right down. I sweep you off your feet. Take you home with me. Get you into my house. Boom, 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 boom. All right. That there be boom, 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 boom. So, if you're not familiar with my format, there's going to be a tab here available. We're going to go line by line through the tab, but if you want a PDF of that, you can check that out on, or support me on Patreon. You could also do it if you don't want the PDF, just because you like what I'm doing. Or you could also hate what I'm doing, but, I don't know, just do it out of hatred. Okay, anywho, let's talk a little bit about the form of this tune, and then we'll talk a little bit about some of the techniques that I'm using, and then we're going to go line by line through the tab. So, the form. This song... The version that I'm doing here is a 12-bar blues, and we'll talk a little bit about that. But first thing, we got to talk about, the tune is basically just a call and response. Often this is done when you listen to Johnny Lee Hooker play it, whichever variation. You have both the electric guitar, you know, and then the band responding. But you also have the response between the vocal and the guitar and the whole band, right? Boom, 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 ba 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 dum. So that is really the main structure of this tune. And there are versions where it just sticks on one chord and you just have it E over and over again. But here we're going to put it in a 12-bar blues. And a lot of times, a lot of the versions have this as kind of the opening part. And when there's a guitar solo, it goes back into a 12-bar blues, or some of them, it's just 12-bar blues the whole time. Sometimes it's like just 8 bars of the 12-bar blues as an intro, and then they kind of go into sitting on E. There's a lot of things, but if people were playing this, it's mostly just everyone's going to do it in a 12-bar blues form. Okay, that said, if you have no idea what a 12-bar blues is, we're playing a 12-bar blues in the key of E, and a 12-bar blues goes like this. 4 bars of the one chord, in this case it's E, and then we have 2 bars of A and 2 bars of E, so 2 bars of the 4, 2 bars of the 1, and then we have 2 bars of the 5, 2 bars of the 1, so 1 1 1 1, 4 4 1 1, 5 5 1 1, or in this case E E E E, A A E E, B B E E, okay? We're not going to really play the full chords. We'll talk a little bit about what we're doing there later when we go through kind of the verse section of this. Yeah, actually, let's do the verse section first of this. So the boom, 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 boom. So this is really what the band is doing. The band has this bo, 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 do. And that's a riff. And a riff is just anything that we use. It's a melodic statement, right? Something that you could hum. And it's just something that we use more than once. We repeat it. If it's not repeated, it's not a riff. But so we use that and we kind of move it to different keys. So I'll show you how to play it first on the E, this riff. And one thing I'll mention is this is a big difference. This is one of the things that make a huge difference between blues and bluegrass music. Is blues is almost inherently riffy. And that's where rock really gets their riffs from. Like most of rock tunes are just riffs as opposed to a bunch of chords. And blues, both blues players and bluegrass musicians will use 12-bar blues, and jazz musicians and rock musicians and so on. But often when you play a blues with like old folk stuff, you're just kind of playing the chords. This is very much make a little statement and repeat that statement, move it into different places. So let me show you this little riff statement. So we have this. So it's much easier to play here on E. It's a little bit tough here because first off we're missing one. And it's also a little tough because I have to use my index fingers to get that G. So it's thumb, index and middle, thumb, index and middle, but the index finger is on the G. And then here I'm actually going thumb and middle again. Pull off, but keeping that third finger down. So that's it on E, right? Then Then we do it again on E. Now, 12 bar blues, so we're going to an A, the 4 chord. So instead of trying to figure out a way of doing it here, we're going to move it up here and do the exact same form. So we just pretend like this is a Riff. We have it up here and we get... So fret by fret, we're using that same riff, but we've modulated it to the key of A. We go back to E. Right? Then we're going to go to B. Same thing as the A, but 2 frets higher. Back to the E. Now, one thing, if you're going to play blues on the banjo, think about that. Think about making riffs, making a simple riff. And also call and response is a huge part of the blues. But think of like, here's a little bit of a riff, and I'm just going to repeat it and do the exact same idea on the same chord. And that's why when we play blues, and I'll probably do a banjo blues video here soon, we often take these ideas and kind of tie them to a shape and just move them around. And this is kind of a nice one. You can do this in different places. It doesn't have to be on boom boom. Okay, so now that's done, we're going to look at the intro, kind of solo-y bit of it. And one thing I'm going to point out is we're doing both the call and the response together, right? That's the idea of this. If I was playing this with a band, I would probably, I don't know. Actually, on the banjo, I'd maybe do one or the other. You know, that's kind of what's cool about it. Boom, 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 boom. Okay, anyway. Let's take a look at this first line. So this very first phrase is the most important thing. And I'm very much just playing it like a guitar player. So I'm doing a lot of like, what do we call this? Single string kind of thing. So when I have to hit 2 notes on the same string, I'll alternate between my thumb and my index finger. So we'll talk about that when it comes up. That's the first thing you learn. You got to get that down. We're sliding with our middle finger up to B. We're getting this D on the 2nd string, sliding back down. And there, I get that open G with my index finger, pick with my thumb, pull off, and then pick again. So that part is the first part. Don't go any further until you get that. Okay, then we have this little response. And that's essentially almost identical to what we played in the verse section, but now I'm doing a little bit of a roll. Okay, now we have the second call, I guess. So this part I'm picking them all. You can make it easier by doing pull-offs, right? But I like the way it sounds, so I'm just alternating. I'm going actually index finger first. Index thumb, index thumb, index thumb. Have the same exact response that we did before. Now we have our third call. Now here I'm bending this D note up. Again. Lots of that index thumb, index thumb, index thumb. Now, because we're going to an A chord, we end on an A note. That's kind of the important part here. Okay, now here I've got kind of a different version of that call. So I'm trying to get the same sort of idea, but a little bit different. So I go... Still kind of following that same melody. Boo, da, ba, da, dum. Oops. And that can be often tough for people, but I think of it kind of like almost like you're an A minor chord and you're going from an A major to an A minor. A major, A minor, and then that's just the melody notes, but done kind of melodic style. Okay, now we continue on with the next call. Alright, that one's kind of nice. You could either do this as a pull-off from 3 to 2 or a slide. Kind of up to you. Okay, then we're back to E, so we're going to do the same call, response. Okay, now we're going to do the same call as from the beginning, but because we're going to a B chord, we're just going to change it just a little bit at the end so that we land on a B. So we get this. Yeah, that's right. Okay, and then because we're kind of in the same place we were with A, but now we're 2 frets higher on the B, I can do that same kind of thing that I did on the A, but now on a B. So that's exactly the same. Now here in the original version, or on the guitar arrangement I did, I kind of followed this. But here I wanted to come up with something a little bit more, so we have this response. Now, this response, and it's hard to tell looking at the tab, maybe I'll put a little note there, but it starts on that second note of the second bar. So we don't start on 4, because that's the end of the response. Now we start this new call. Again, you could do that 3 to 2 as a slide or a pull-off. Right? Also, index thumb, index thumb, index thumb to get that real smooth. Okay, and then the last call. Exactly like it was all the other times before. Okay, so that there be Boom Boom, John Lee Hooker's tune that I've arranged on the banjo here. Notice we've never hit the 5th string, and in a lot of ways that feels like cheating. This is a little bit of a cheat because I'm very guitar-y part on it. I'm doing a lot of single string, but I wanted to do something that kind of fit in, that would be usable in different keys and that sort of thing. So if you learn even just this, and these little guitar licks are kind of nice on the banjo. Right, so you can throw them in. And E minor is essentially very similar to G, so we play a lot on G on a banjo. So if you can do some of these blues licks, you can just basically do them to G. What is it? What was it? How's it go? Yeah. There you go. Now it's super G. Okay. Anyways, last thing I'm going to do here is I'm just going to play through the tab of the... I'll go through the whole tab at a nice slow tempo with the tab on the screen. Again, if you'd like a PDF of this, or you'd like to support me, or you want to like show your hatred or whatever, do that on my Patreon, please. Thank you. Okay, here we go. 1, 2, 1, 2. Wait, I don't know why I did that. 1, 2, 3, 4. Boom, 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 boom. Shoot you right down. Sweep you off of your feet. Take you home with me. Get you into my house. Boom, 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 boom. Alright, till next time.